I know consistency is key, but it's hard to stay consistent.
So, you are probably wondering how a guy from a small town now sat with 2 Lamborghinis behind it. So I think it's about time I give you my full story from A to Z. So let's get into it. So I was actually really debating whether to bring this out, but I thought, you know what, it's about time that I share my full story because I feel like it's very overwhelming. I'm 5 years deep, half a decade. I'm getting to unstate this, I'm getting old. I think it's about time I actually shared with you my story because get these cars behind me, to have £500,000 of cars behind me is not easy. There's a full team, everything that goes into this. So there's no script for this video. I don't even know what I'm gonna say. I'm literally just going from start to finish so you guys can understand my journey. So obviously I left school and I was a beach lifeguard. That is what I did. Every single summer I was a beach lifeguard. My original plan was to go to Australia and be a beach lifeguard in Australia. It was an easy way out. I passed all my fitness tests and I thought there'd be nothing better than just soaking up the sun in a beach and dossing around. I always dreamed of doing nothing. They paid $50,000 a year, by the way. 50 grand a year you get paid to be a Bondi beach lifeguard, which is crazy. But unfortunately, COVID-19 hit. The pandemic hit, and this kind of just crushed my reality. I think COVID, I can't remember exactly when it hit, but COVID-19 hit, and it was kind of October time, once British summer had finished. I just had absolutely nothing to do. I was bumming around, I wasn't allowed to go to Australia now, and I hit, I would say, probably the lowest point in my life. I was 18. And a lot of you watching this, I don't know how old you all are, but if you've left school, you'll realise that it is such a violent switch. One day, you're in school, you're getting told to go to class, you're getting told what to do, and if you don't want to do something, you get forced to do it anyway. But when you leave school at 18, you're now on your own. The teachers don't give a fuck about you, no one cares if you get a job, and that pressure hits you of like, if you want to do nothing, you haven't got anyone telling you, you can't anymore. You're in the real world, and I think for me, that was the biggest slap of reality because now I was at my sister's house and I was just bumming around. I think for 2 months, I literally did nothing. I wasn't going to the gym, I was getting really fat, I was sleeping until like 2 p.m. I was a loser because the dream that I had in my mind, the idea of going to Australia and living this amazing life, that is what I had in my head. But then when COVID hit, I had no purpose, I had no meaning, and I was nobody. I was nobody, I was nothing, I was down and out. Then I think 2 months into this at 18, my sister said to me, you have to do something. She was paying all the bills, she was paying for my food, I was just existing. I wasn't living, I was existing. And she had the conversation with me of, Lou, I love you, but you need to do something. You can't just bum around doing nothing. So I went on to Indeed, looked for Indeed, and it just was even more depressing. I don't know who's watching this, but you know when you scroll through Indeed, all of the jobs are like complete minimum wage, toilet cleaners, low skilled labour, and then for any job that pays above 30 grand a year, it's like you need a degree, you need 5 years experience. And I thought, this is ridiculous, it's impossible to get a job. And even now, you're watching this, you're 16, you're 17, it is going to be so difficult for you. Getting employed is so hard. So what I did is I put my prom suit on and I went to all the nearest car dealerships around me. Bearing in mind, it's not a tailored suit like I'm wearing today. I was wearing my prom suit that I wore in year 11, and from 16 to 18, I got fat as fuck and probably grew about 3 or 4 inches. So I looked like a right knob walking into these car garages. But I went in there, I went to Stephen Eagle Toyota in Peterborough. That is where I went in. Well, I started off at Land Rover and they said, listen, we haven't got any jobs available here, but what we'll do is you can work for Toyota, you'll be on apprenticeship salary, but you'll be on a salesperson's commission. So I was like, brilliant, I will take anything to get me busy. And that day he said, when can you start? And I said, tomorrow. I took the job at Toyota, and you will have seen these clips because a lot of these clips went viral. I'll put some on the screen now. This is me when I was working at Toyota. Anyway, I smashed out Toyota, did really, really well. You know, was finishing top there, was doing so well. Then got moved over to Range Rover, and for the first time, I was actually making movements in my life. I could buy a few designer clothes. I was probably earning like £4,000 or £5,000 a month from car sales, which is really good money, especially at 18. I was buzzing, right? I was so happy to have this job, be employed, and I could finally buy some nice designer clothes for myself. I never had no nice clothes. Like, I could finally buy the nice clothes for myself. I could finally have that feeling of doing something. I was driving around a nice car. But then I would say after about 4 months, this cycle actually got really difficult. It didn't sit well in my head. I was like, okay, well, now I have a nice car. Now I can go to London on the weekend and eat at a nice restaurant and eat nice clothes, but I'm like, I'm not actually enjoying myself. I'm working 5 to 6 days a week. I'm working 10, 11, 12-hour days. There has to be more to this. And then, this is obviously the more serious part of the story, but also where I fully understand that God has a plan. I got really, really ill. So one day when I was at work, I had a really bad stomach pain, and I was like to my boss, I need to leave. I was like, I need to leave right now, I don't feel well. And long story short, I progressively got really worse, got admitted to hospital, had a complicated appendicitis. An appendicitis inside of me that if it burst inside my body, it would have filled with cancer, and obviously I would have died. So it sounds extreme. I don't want this to be crazy trauma dumping, but it was a very difficult time. They wanted to cut a scar all up my body. I didn't want that. It would have ruined my confidence. It would have ruined my lungs. So I actually put off life-saving surgery because I didn't want a scar, and I still have the scar today. See here, I still have this scar. When I went to the operating table for them to obviously sort out my appendicitis, this is where it really hit me. I was sat on the operating table, they obviously gave me my chances. I was like, there is a chance that it can go wrong, etc. And I remember before they put me to sleep, I thought, wow, I've done nothing with my life. I've finished school, I've dossed about home, I've got employed, and what, I've sold a few cars. I've done nothing. I haven't done anything for myself. I haven't achieved anything. I haven't traveled. I haven't been anywhere. And genuinely, that was the moment where it switched for me. When I was laid on that operating table and they was about to put me to sleep, to operate on me, I was pissed off because what a shit life. I'd gone to school, I've got out, and now I'm fucking dying. Great life. Just finished the lobby, and now they're sending me to the gulag. It's just no good. After that operation, as you can tell, I'm here to tell the tale. I didn't die, but it changed my perspective on life a lot. And then I think a month after this happened, I won a car award, and then I got picked up by a real estate company in Dubai called Allsop and Allsop. They wrote an email to me and they said, we would love to give you a chance to sell real estate in Dubai. You know, you can move here, you can work in Dubai, study real estate in Dubai. So I was like, fantastic. This is my message. I'm going to Dubai. All of my friends, all of my family, you got to remember, boys, yeah, this was 5 years ago. You're watching this, yeah, where Dubai is Dubai. 5 years ago, Dubai wasn't even on the map like that. So all of my friends and family were saying, Lou, this is a terrible idea. Why are you going to go to the Middle East? It's crazy strict out there. It's this, it's that. And I just thought to myself, I don't want this life anymore. I don't want to be in the UK. I don't want to be doing the same shit every single day. I don't want to be Lewis the fucking car salesman. I want to be my own person. So I've gone out to Dubai on an absolute whim. I've got to the real estate office and I just messed up my life even more. I moved to Dubai with £30,000, which at 18 to stack 30 bags is impressive. I was living so humbly to save and stack fucking bread. And then I went to Dubai with 30 grand, and what did I do? Mcgarry being Mcgarry, if you've watched me for a while and you've seen my DJing content, what did I do? I fucked up my whole life. I met a load of people, I started going to the clubs, I started boozing, took it so unseriously, and then I got fired from the real estate job out there. And I remember it so well. The recruiter guy said, you're just another one of them guys, you're gonna end up going home, like you've ruined your opportunity, you've ruined your chance. And I was like, mate, fuck you, innit? Like, what are you talking about? Like some fat, absolute idiot in a suit telling me that my life was done because I didn't succeed in a fucking stupid real estate company. Like, I would talk some mad shit, but like, I don't even want Allsop and Allsop to file a lawsuit on me, yeah? But you see that company, you know what I think. And I hope this gets sent to you. I can't even say this because I don't want lawsuits, all right? But you know what you're doing is morally wrong, yeah? Real estate, and I want everyone to clip this right. Real estate agencies in Dubai, but that's run over. I met some people, I paid 3 or 4 months rent up front on my apartment. So at this point I was unemployed and I was just living my life. I was going to beach clubs in Dubai and my mindset was, I am just going to enjoy myself until I run out of money. I'm going to go to the beach clubs, I'm going to go to the gyms, I'm going to have it off. And then I was in the gym one day, I was with a couple of girls. I'm going to be careful what I say because obviously I'm a missus now. I was with a couple of girls in the gym. Obviously, you know, if if you're with a couple girls and this and that and the other, it makes you look like something you're not. Now, I was dressing well, I looked presentable, and people do judge you based on what you look like. And I was in the gym, and a guy comes over to me and he's like, how are you out there with, what do? You know, you got those girls with you, you know, you're training in this gym, you're a young man, what are you doing? And in this situation, boys, I had two options. I could have lied, I could have made out I was someone who I wasn't, or I could have said the honest truth. And this is a huge advocate to just tell the truth. You should always tell the truth, because I just said to the guy, I said, listen bro, I'm living off my savings, I'm running out of money, and I'm basically just enjoying this as a holiday until I go home. He turns around, he looks at me, he says, this is Dubai. This is the land of opportunity, and I want to help you. The next day, I go to his office, he picks me up in a Rolls Royce. I'd never been in a Rolls Royce before. I was like, this is insane. So I get into his Rolls Royce, go to his office, and he's like, let me show you how the online space works. Let me show you how you can build and scale online businesses, and let me show you the ways. And that guy, 5 years on, I still work with very, very closely today. I owe him a lot of what I have now. So the first 3 months, I started grinding, and I did make money very quickly through the online space. I was running a few different things, and I did start to make money quickly, but making money quickly isn't always a good thing. When I started making money quickly, I did go off the rails a little bit. I was going out, getting tables, I was buying pointless shit, and after about 3 or 4 months of earning money, I still ended up back home, and it really hit hard. And I was even thinking, is this for me? Am I getting swallowed up here? And I wrote out an email to get my old job back. I thought, this isn't for me. And like, this is like, it's too volatile. But then I thought, you know what, I'm gonna give it one last go. And I went all in with the online space. I went all in, and then things just grew. They got bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. You know, I got my first watch, and then after the watch, I got a car, and then another car, and it all just scales and scales and scales up. And the reason why I want to make this video is because I think it is so unbelievably easy to come across my page today. People want to watch now. Now that there's cars and my friends are lit and there's watches and there's parties, now everyone wants to watch. But you're only looking in on chapter 50, you ain't looking out on chapter 1. That's why it fucks me off when people want to come and comment on my life and say, you know, you're always going to get the same rage bait. Daddy's money, like this is rented, that is rented, and it's like, you have no idea what we done to get here. And that's why I think it's important to tell the story, because it's not like this shit just spawned in. It's not like I just grabbed this. All steps and stages, every single, when I first moved to Dubai, it was a 1-bedroom studio. Then it was a 1-bedroom apartment, then a 2-bedroom apartment, then a 3-bedroom apartment, and then a penthouse. I grow every single year. Every single year, we all improve together and we get a bit better. So don't be looking at my stuff and thinking that's happened like that, because it hasn't. And furthermore, everything I make is to inspire you guys. I do not sell a course. I do not charge mentorship. I have an online community that is free for 30 days. So it's like, I'm not trying to charge you for anything. I just want to genuinely inspire people with my platform. That's the whole reason why I carried on doing content. I don't need to do this. I do it because if just one person out of 100 haters, if just one person can look at me, hear my story, watch this video that I'm doing now, and think, it's possible. He's not lying. He did come from a 9 to 5. He didn't have rich parents. And everything that he's saying is true. You've just got to take the step, and that is why I'm making this video, because you've heard the story. We're now in the final chapter, but going back to chapter 1, I was working as a lifeguard. I didn't have nowhere to go. You've heard the story. So please, if you have watched this video and you've enjoyed it, remember to like and subscribe, but please take something away from this video. This isn't just my story. This story has been made and shared with you on the internet today to inspire you. Right now, it doesn't matter what your circumstances are, it doesn't matter how your financial background is with your parents, there is always, always, always a way for you to make it out. It doesn't happen quickly, and shit like this here, like fucking 300 bad cars takes time, yeah, it takes years, but you can make a start today. I'm not saying that trading's the best way to do it, e-com's the best way to do it, Amazon's the best way to do it. The best way to do it is what you genuinely enjoy. You're never going to get good at anything if you don't put in the hours and do it for a long time. This is half a decade's worth of work. So if you're watching this today, I hope that you do feel inspired. I hope this really gives you the motivation to get up and put the work in, because I needed to show you guys that I am just a normal person. I have some cool stuff, I pull a couple of views here and there, but I am a normal person who's come from a normal background. And genuinely, from the bottom of my heart, if you're watching this, I truly want you to succeed, do something with your life and smash it out. Boys, I'll see you at the fucking top.